Hey everybody, welcome back to the Good Life Bookstore. It is one of your favorite authors, Good Life Russ, and we are back with another mental health panel, and it's ladies' first day. So we hope you enjoy. We hope you're tuned in at home with someone you love, and you have your listening ears on because we are going to cover a lot of information. So, like I said, I am Good Life Russ. I am a 22-time published author. I am a cognitive behavioral therapist. I'm a Reiki master, a father, a business owner, and now a bookstore owner. So, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we have him outnumbered. It's been a fun time already. I am apparently your other favorite author and co-host, Chloe Simone. I can be found at Chloe Simone Studio on all social media platforms. I am saying that every time because I'm so proud of myself for finally being consistent on social media. So I'm definitely shouting myself out for that. I'm here with an amazing group of women. I'm super excited. The mental health panel was so amazing. We had to come from another perspective, which is why we're doing ladies first. We wanted to ask women about mental health questions about women. And in these situations, ladies comes first. So let's start off the introductions to our panel. Let's start off with Ms. JJ Winston. Tell us about yourself, who you are, and why you're here.
Hello, everyone. My name is JJ Winston, also known as Judy Jackson Winston. JJ Winston is my pen name. I am the author of three novels and a workbook and resource guide for mental health. I'm a licensed independent social worker as well as an attorney. Presently, I am employed as a domestic relations magistrate. I work for the Honorable Tanya R. Jones as her post decree magistrate. She's the first African American female ever elected in the history of Cuyahoga County Domestic Relations Court. I live in Cleveland. And previous to going to the court, I was the client rights officer for people with behavioral health problems. For 19 years, I did this job um, in Cleveland. So I represented all kind of people who had mental health as well as drug and alcohol issues. And I'm very pleased to be here. And I'm hopeful to talk to you all about awareness, stigma, eradication of all those things. And just to tell you a little bit more about me, you can find my novels by visiting my website at www.novelistjjwinston.com. And you can follow me on Novelist JJ Winston. And I forgot to say, I am the author of The Anniversary, which is my first novel, The Commemoration, which is my second novel, and my last novel, The Revelation. And lastly, my workbook, The Anniversary Resource Guide. And I just basically use my expertise and my education to raise awareness about topics that are important to me, and mental health being number one, particularly in the African American community. My books also raise awareness about human trafficking as well as sickle cell disease. And I'm really pleased and also privileged and grateful to be here today with these beautiful ladies on this panel. Yay.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And come on, Books on Deck. Books was on standby and we're ready. I love that. All right, we're veering over to my left. We're going to Miss Alita Hunt. Tell us who you are, maybe a little bit about where you're from. Why are you here?
Hi, my name's Alita Hunt. I am an author, a speaker, and a co-collaborator for women and children and youth. I started in social work 20 something years, which has brought me to the point where I am now, helping foster families understand the dynamics that comes along with that and the mental strategies they can use to hopefully reunite their families. As an author, I produced two books. One is a journaling book that's dedicated to the individual being able to start where they are. So it's not one of those read from the beginning to the end. It'll last you 365 days and beyond, creating a legacy for future people in your life as a guide. My second book is called These Ran Over Shoes of Mine, which is actually the explanation in story form and metaphor form explaining the journal. So if you have both books, you'll be on a wonderful journey. Um, I currently am employed on several things other than being an author and a speaker. I'm also a healthcare worker. I'm also a mom. I'm here in the wonderful city of Chicago. And I just try to be me, as my title says, be me, which is being eccentrically me every day in the company that I run that helps promote wellness and good being about yourself, whether you be man or woman, which I know we're concentrating on women today. But my goal is to help individuals discover, understand, know, or increase their visibility of themselves and awareness around them. So that's who I am. And I thank Good Life Bookstore for having me. I appreciate it.
And we're definitely excited and thankful to have you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I forgot. Find me on all social medias under Beame, BEME.
Yes.
Yes.
Come on, social media. All right, we're rolling over to Miss Charlotte Gillespie. She tried to throw me off. She got a new look. She got this new hair color, which I'm obsessed with. But we got the same wisdom. So come on, remind us who you are, ma'am.
My name is Charlotte Gillespie, and I'm from Olive Branch, Mississippi, born and raised. I am a certified child care director in the process of opening my own child care. I am also an author. I wrote my first book in 2021 entitled I Survived. This year, recently, matter of fact, on my birthday, I released Beauty from Brokenness, which is a journal which it basically talks about um, brokenness in the life, bringing upon beauty in a lens. Um, I also released an I Survived journal, which is similar to my book, but it's more to a journal where you're able to write your story of your survival moment. I mean, everybody's survival moment's not the same.
Mhm.
Yours might not be same as mine, but you're able to tell your story. And lastly, I released a book called Beauty. I released a book called from Survival to Purpose, and that's also a book pertaining to survival, but in a different perspective. My I Survived book is pertaining to me as an infant. This Survival to Purpose is pertaining to life growing up. I am excited to be a part. You can get all my books on Amazon. You can type in Charlotte Gillespie and all my books will pop up. I have Facebook, Instagram. Facebook is Charlotte G. Gillespie. I also have a author page that says Author Charlotte Gillespie. I have Instagram, Charlotte Gillespie 30, and you can find me there to connect with me in all ways. And I am thankful for Good Life Bookstore for having me a part.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Side note, we also are featuring all of these authors on the goodlifebookstore.com because we really believe in everything that they're doing and everything that they're saying. And that's why they're here, because they have some good stuff to say. So now we got to close out these introductions. See, she's ready. She's ready. We have wonderful and fabulous repping the pink and green all day, every day. TR Monroe. The TR stands for the real, if you didn't know. So tell us, tell us who you are and why you are here.
Hello, everyone. My pen name is T.R. Monroe. Real name is Tanya Renee. So I guess I'm the only one out of here that's not a professional in this field. I am actually an educator of 28 years. I have done all ages from kindergarten to college. Presently, I am a librarian at a middle school, the media specialist, and I got my books. My books, it's a series they called the Health, Healing, and Freedom series. And my first book, which came out, is We Still Rise. And it deals with grief, betrayal, and trauma, and how to start your healing journey. It is a workbook so that you're able to write in it and reflect back on those emotions. My second book is Beyond the Good, which deals with the good girl syndrome and people pleasing and breaking that conditioning as adults. And then my third book, I call it F cube. It is faith, feeling, and freedom. It's my 3 F's. And it is a prayer journal for mental health and neurodivergent. And it's 52 weeks. And it has unfiltered prayers. It has reflection moments, prompts, anything you need to be able to get you closer to God in your healing journey. My books can be found, yes, on Amazon, but I also have a website. It's trmonroebooks.com. And my social media is author TR Monroe. That's across Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. I'm just all out there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I just want to throw this out there. Did y'all hear her say she was the one that wasn't like the and then go on to list several reasons why she was okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one that caught that. Okay. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the fabulous introductions. Let's dive into it. And we're going to start off with the number one thing that we all want to know. When does being the strong Black woman stop being empowering and start being harmful? So, Miss JJ, you can kick us off.
You know what? That's what my novels are about. It's a series about a family. It's fiction, so it's a little bit different. I wanted to use fiction because I feel that it is a way to break through and to get people to look at things in a different way. It's almost harmful what's happened to us as a community, as African American women, because we are so strong and we've been forced to be so strong that sometimes we forget that we need to do things for ourselves too, because trying to carry the weight of our families, of our communities is very difficult. Mm-hmm. And if you say, hey, I need some help, then people look at you and tell you, well, you know what? Your ancestors, they're always telling you about your ancestors, aren't they? What they went through. It still doesn't mean that the weight that you're carrying is not hard. And what we should do is be there to help each other, empower each other. Also, give yourself grace and give yourself the space to say, you know what? I need time to recharge. We are the backbones of our family, but it is important that we also seek help for ourselves and assistance so that we can continue to try to help our families, but we can't be everything to everyone. Sometimes when you can't do all that, you feel like you're less than because you can't do it, but no one can do it. We need to remember that. I remember watching this special about the BET models and those beautiful girls that would be on the videos. You find out that they did all this work on them and they weren't really how they looked. And they say young girls would get really upset because they wanted to look like these women and they couldn't. Well, you can't look like something that's not real. So sometimes it's a fallacy about being a strong superwoman That's a fallacy. We're just like everybody else. We're superheroes, but we're human. So we need to remember that. So I hope that answers the question for me. Does it help answers for your audience as well?
Oh yeah, we definitely can relate to that. And I love how you said it. Just because it seems like a way before, it doesn't mean that it's not heavy now. That doesn't mean it wasn't heavy then either.
And it was. And you know what? And I think that sometimes because you watch people do things and it looks like it's easy to them, when it's difficult for you, it makes you question yourself, like, why is this so hard? Because like you just said, it was hard for them too. But what we need to do better at is saying, hey, to your sister, to your friends, to your community, I need you to help me carry this load. Many hands make light work. That's what I was told by one of my beautiful sorors.
Miss Alita, it looks like you had something to say.
I totally agree with her on that point, that as Black women, we try to be everything, the be all to everybody in every situation. And I think as we learn, because it is a learned behavior, that we start defining ourselves as the mom, the soccer coach, the wife, the teacher, the mentor, the everything, the best girlfriend, the worst enemy. And then we start believing all of that and carrying it until we like, okay, I can't carry this anymore. And then we're running around saying, oh, I got to do this for my husband. Oh, I have to do this for my children. Oh, my girlfriend want me to go out with me. And we burn ourselves out believing that we have to be all of that. And of course, one point where I would kind of differentiate from her is you can be all that, but you have to define the boundaries for all of them. The boundaries cannot be unlimited to access to you. So if you're the mom, there might be times where you have to tell your children, your husband, and your family, hey, not today, maybe tomorrow, or let me set this up with you later. Or your best friend who might be a little freer than you are because you do have a family and they don't. You have to say, well, I can't go out with you tonight, or we can't hang, or we can't stay on the phone for 10 hours, and so forth and so forth. So once we start learning how to control or manage, let me say manage because I don't like control, but manage how we allow people access to us and start defining our parameters and limitations, then I think that's how we begin to build back from what has become harmful to us as Black women.
Very, very well said. Not to throw some answers your way, but TR, this sounds very familiar to a conversation that you and I had about the good girl syndrome. So I need to hear what you got to say it behind this.
Us as women of all races have been the pillars of society, in the church, in the workplace, in schools, and in their homes, in the communities. Everybody depended on the female to hold things together. The thing is, through generations and generations, we kept trying to hold that along with coming up with careers. And we have to understand that it becomes very harmful to us when we decide that we got to carry everything. We can't carry everything. We have to see that real strength means asking for help. Real strength means boundaries. And if we don't, then we're going to wear ourselves out, have mental health problems, have health problems, because it comes off in health problems as well. We can't be strong to everybody and not strong for ourselves. I told you before that even the airplane tells you, put on your mask first before you help somebody else. Because you still need to be alive. You still need to be capable of providing, helping, and still having those boundaries.
100%. Miss Charlotte. What do we have to add on to the conversation? When does being a strong Black woman stop from being empowering and start being harmful?
I totally agree with everyone that has spoken already. Um, to me, I use the word most times for myself, balance. We as women, we we do not manage balance. We take over so much. We empower so much to others. We help others in so many ways. We are the leadership in so many things in so many ways. Until we do not have a balance between work and rest, or whatever you're doing and resting, or taking care of ourselves, or pampering ourselves, or whatever we have to do as women, because we take on so much in leadership. And being in church, you see men do things in the church, but most time your crowd are women. And I just think, as a woman, we just need balance as women. We need to encounter ourselves, encourage ourselves, um, on top of encouraging others, and take care of ourselves in that balancing situation. So my word for it is strictly balance, for women to balance themselves in life.
That was beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. I definitely agree with everyone said as well, and I love to hear balance. I think that's good for the community. As they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So well said. So my question is, from a man, what are healthy ways that women can nurture the relationships, partnerships, friendships with other women? And we'll go in reverse order if you want to start first, Charlotte.
Okay, repeat your question one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question is what are healthy ways that you feel women can nurture relationships, friendship, partnerships with other women?
One way is, I go back to encouragement. We Women are the worst critic of themselves. Women are the least encouraging to others. I won't say all women, but some women. Um, Take out the jealousy, take out the envy, take out the "it's all about me," and nurture other ladies. We have to come together as women and become one, stand as one, unite, I must say. We should unite as women and stand for each other, with encouragement, prayer, whatever your way of nurturing another woman in a relationship, whether it's a relationship or friendship, whatever you're going through. Nurture that person with prayer, nurture them with encouragement, nurture them with whatever they need at that moment. And my belief is always that prayer will work out through anything. And we as women have to come together and not, just not be envy or each other or jealous of each other, but come together and unite with each other.
Love, love it. So we gotta meet healed, which is what I hear consistently, whether you're man, woman, child, animal, show up healed. So I love that.
Mhm.
All right, Miss TR, what do you think? How can women in a healthy way nurture relationships with other women, partnerships, friendships? It could be sisterhood.
Um, Healthy friends celebrate each other. We give our roses while we're still here. Um, we tell them the truth in love. We stand there through the hard times, not just the good times. And we also understand that when I say, ask you, how are you doing? And the automatic response is, I'm doing well. How are you? I've gotten to the point now where I don't say that. I say, what's your mental today? Because they have to stop and really think about it. And then they'll tell you the truth. We won't tell people when we're hurting. We won't. We need to. We need to tell people that we're tired. We can't hold it all. We need help. And when we start doing that, our brothers and sisters are there for us, the ones that really love us.
Thank you for sharing that. I agree. I was told that things can only grow through truth. Nothing can grow through a lie. So I agree. We have to bring back transparency when it comes to union, because that's a part of being a part of community. Is us being honest. Iron sharpens iron. We've heard all the things. We got to put it into practice. Okay, Miss Alita, where are you? And at any point, if y'all need us to repeat a question, just let us know.
Absolutely. I am thinking about how we all started out on this episode of the Good Life Bookstore. We all understand everyone has their own journey to travel. My thing is when it comes to those situations, I sit back and I let people travel it because I can't tell you exactly how to get through your journey because your experiences and your trauma and everything about you is what creates you. So when we're in a group of women, you're right, we should celebrate everyone, but everyone doesn't have that life skill to do so. Some of us do it by learning how to be the amen corner. Forgive me for saying it, but everybody understand what an amen corner is. And if you don't, it's always the people when you ask them or you say, how should I do this? And I feel this way about stuff. They be like, girl, amen. No matter what you do. They're like, yes, it's okay. It's okay. When them themselves won't do it, but they won't even question you as to why you want to do it. You know, whether it's good or bad. They're always, okay, yes, they're always in agreement with you. But as Ciara said, as women, we shouldn't be like that because that's how we end up hurt. You let your girlfriend, your mama, your sister, your aunts, your brothers go out there on something foul, then you looking back saying, oh, I should have said, yeah, but you had the opportunity. And even when they're out there doing good, when they're doing good, stand up for them and praise them, say, hey, I like what you're doing. Because when that happens, people learn to follow the good in you and the better in you. We build stronger communities through that. Because like I said, when I talk to people, and they ask me something, I say, well, which way you want to hear it? Because again, I'm not about controlling people. I'm about people finding their own journey. I say, what do you want? You want me to tell you the truth? Do you want the half truth? Or do you want me to just tell you what you want to hear? Because then once you respond, then I'm prepared better to assist you on your thought process. Because everything in the end, it still has to be about your thought process. And that's what builds relationship because you'll learn to respect me. Like she never told me to do this, or she gave me an out for myself. She let me think about all the ways in which I can handle this situation and move on from there. And I think that's how we build those strong communications, even with our friends as that happen to be of the opposite sex, the males, and so forth. We build that respect, that understanding, that encouragement. I mean, and that just if you believe in it, it just ripples out into the world. What you put out will come back, as they always say. So that's how I view it, and that's how I think we make stronger relationships and things.
Yes, I love that. You definitely resonated with a lot of things that I think and believe. And I talk about how important confirmation is. I think that's a sign of caring about somebody, not just asking how they are, but getting confirmation. Hey, I'm not great today. Can you just come over and talk to me? And sure, I can come over. Or if you are doing something, making sure you get back to it, making sure you follow up. I think all of these things are good friendship qualities in general. So it's great to hear you say that because I definitely agree. Okay, Miss JJ.
All righty. My thoughts on this are just like in my novel, I try to really talk about what I believe is real life. There are times where people will come and they will tell you something. They will confide in you. What's important is, as a good friend, to not weaponize the information that somebody gave to you. To be encouraging, to be a friend, to be a sister, oftentimes we have just been conditioned to say, like I think Miss Monroe said, to say, I'm fine, when you're not. But sometimes when people really say, hey, I'm having this problem, people go, well, wait a minute now. You're supposed to say fine. You ain't supposed to tell me all this. You know, we have to be good friends to have good friends. So we need to treat people the way that we want to be treated. And you do need to realize that you're part of a community that's bigger than just you. Your life is about a sisterhood. It's about community. And having the people in your community are your sisters, your brothers, your people. So, you know, we have to treat each other the way we want to be treated too. But if I come and I tell you something, because you basically said it was okay for me to do that, you made me believe you created a safe space for me to be my authentic self. And I told you 1, 2, and 3, don't get mad at me and say 4, 5, and 6. Because then when somebody needs to share again, they won't want to. Because they will feel hurt and they will feel burned that I did try to share and I was, you know, treated badly. So I hope I answered the question.
More than enough.
Yes.
Is there answering this beautiful? All right, I gotta ask the question. So we have a panel of some very strong believers here. I feel like that is apparent, but I have to ask that. Is there a time when faith, spirituality, overall positivity, just being grateful, is there a time that leads us to avoid actual mental health discussions that we should be having? So who wants to kick us off on this one?
I'm gonna kick you guys off on it. And say this. You know, there are people, particularly when you're dealing with grief and you're dealing with loss. Folks tell you if you go to church, you should believe in God. That's what you should be believing in. Okay. And, you know, that's how you're going to get help. And you will get help from God. But God also created all these beautiful women on this panel and a bunch of other beautiful people in this world who've been trained to be able to help you if you would just let somebody help you. So I think that faith is really important. God is important. I wonder, this gentleman said, that's a very good question. Time to untap this. I really want to know what he thinks. Okay. I want to untap it too, but I hope I answered the question. I'm just going to stop now.
Oh, definitely. Miss Charlotte, what do you think about that? We've had several conversations about what faith has meant to you. How do you feel? Is there a moment where that might not be addressing the mental health conversation that needs to be had?
I would like to go back to what she said about grief. Grief is a thing that we allow people, or you allow church people, or you allow Christians to tell you there's a certain time to grieve, there's a certain time to cry. There is not a certain time to grieve. And it bothers me personally when people tell you that, because grief is different for everyone. And it's hard at times to really talk to humans because we are so afraid of what they're going to say. And so our next thing is, well, I believe God, I trust God, I pray. So I'm just going to bundle it up and let God handle it. And I'm just going to have that I'm fine impression. And to be honest with you personally, I just went through it last year in October. And having to want to try to be strong in that moment, and try not to just show that grief, And at the time, and I had to realize I have to talk to someone. I have to let it loose. I have to let it
Mhm.
go. So even though my trust was in God, God answered my prayer for no longer of suffering, but I still had to realize for my mentality, because I was hurt, that I have to go to some kind of professional. I have to get some kind of counseling. I have to get this. I have to get
Mhm.
that. God said faith is the size of a mustard seed. But then on the other hand, he says faith without works is dead. So
Mhm.
in the human mentality, we have to get some kind of work done here, far as getting our mental health stable. And that's the way I think of
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Mhm. Definitely well said. Definitely well said. Miss TR, what you got to say?
Um, we got to understand that faith and plus mental health equals healing. They work hand in hand. Faith does not void out mental health. If you look at the Bible, even Jesus had to take a rest. Even he had boundaries. Even God, seventh day, he rested. He didn't want nothing else to happen. He rested. The Bible also tells us in this life, you too shall have trials and tribulation. It's going to happen to us, but we just got to have the tools in order to work through it. And the Bible is the perfect place. The thing is, a lot of people just don't know where to look. And my next project is going to be a faith equals mental health um, companion guide, which is going to actually be small and they can carry it around. And it has verses that work with different emotions, different mental health issues. So you know where to focus yourself at.
It's definitely needed. I love the perspective that you guys are giving on this, because I think that this is a conversation we don't have enough. I definitely grew up with the, if I had something I wanted to talk about it, I didn't get the amen crew. I got the, oh, I'll pray about it for you crew. And I'm like, well, let's pray right now then. Let me finish telling you what I need to finish praying about. Miss Alita, come on. What you got to add to this? I'm
Yes,
excited.
you're right. You're right. There are the amen corner, and those are the ones that's, like I said, always amen, amen. And then there are those, like you said, that say, let's pray about it. And forgive me, I am a praying woman. I am definitely a praying woman. But as Ms. Ciara said, I also understand that it's okay to be grateful for what you have and not want the increase. It's okay to be in that space. But for some reason, society has put it where women should want more. They should want it all. I mean, even everybody. Russ, I'm not going to even leave you out on this one, because society always say, get more, get more, get more. And then when we get it, or we're praying about it, and we get that increase in our life, we become ashamed, because maybe we leaving other people behind. And it's like, no, you ask for it, be okay with it, accept it, and let them journey on their journey. If they need to pray about it, let them pray about it. If it doesn't come, it doesn't, it might not have necessarily been meant for them right there. And I do, in my chapter, in both of my books, let me put it like this. In my book called These Ran Over Shoes, there is a chapter about those church going folk. They got the church shoes on. They always got the church shoes on. The not, they look what most people receive people as who are devout in their faith look like, especially in a lot of religions. I'm not going to point out any particular one. And then there's those when they come in and they don't look like it, and you can see the eyes roll, you can see the side looks and things of that nature. Or like you sitting in the wrong seat because you visiting, and you go sit in somebody's seat who sits in this seat every Sunday, and they looking at you like, and I'm saying to myself, well, God didn't tell you own that seat, because we only supposed to be here to commune and learn from each other and be led by a shepherd. In my second book, well, my first, which is actually the second, however you want to look at them, because they go hand in hand. The ABCs of life, we talk about that too in there. But in that version, we talk about how to deal with it. You set up your 7 days and you just generally write or draw or read or reference other novels, music, or things of that nature, so that you learn that it's okay to be grateful for things that you have, and it's okay to want to increase. Now, as far as my faith, as I said, I am a praying woman. I do believe in the religion I practice. So in one of the books, which is the ABCs of Life, this is how I view it. And I had to go look it up because I didn't have my book. But I think if people view faith and their mental health like this, we would be better prepared when we have to go to our churches. Because I'm going to say there are churches out there that are involved and they are helpful in the community. And then there are churches out there that just want the facade of being that. And again, that's their life, their journey. That's what we do. But I put out there, like, your faith is your belief without sight. You have to understand. And that's a mental part of it, that faith means I might not see it here today, but it might come one day. Your belief is what you presume to be truth about that based upon the evidence. That's something you actually can see. So if someone steps to you and say, hey, I want to help you, and you've seen them help over time other individuals, that's your evidence. That's your belief that this person's going to be there for me, or this society is going to be there for me. Your religion, and this is where some people get it confused, religion is only the practice of that faith and those beliefs. That it's only the practice. It's what you should live by. You know, so if you want to be that Christian or better Christian, or even me, because I stumble and I fall and I pick my self back up and I pray again about it, I got to practice my religion, and that's part of practicing my religion. But the biggest thing about it, which is the part now that affects our mental health, is the spirituality. It's the understanding of how it all comes together in one place. Once you have that peace about yourself, like, okay, I am grateful for what I have, but I shouldn't feel guilty about wanting more. No one should make me feel that. And then if I get an increase, whether it be emotionally, financially, physically, because for those who want to, improve their body like me, y'all can't see what I'm missing down here. I need a little help in the 6-pack area, but I should be okay with it. And my friends should be okay with it. They shouldn't, like you said, don't berate me because my life might be moving forward or faster than yours, because that's my personal journey. Because in parts of your life might be moving faster and better than mine in that aspect, because that's your journey. Respecting one another and understanding everyone's journey and how it is affecting them in their trauma, and being okay with everything in your life, or wanting more or being better, it's okay. It's all okay. As long as you're doing harm to no one else or yourself. As long as it's moving in a positive direction, then we should always be okay, or well off for understanding that that's how it goes. Faith, belief, religion, and spirituality. Spirituality covers it all. Your mental health, your physical health, your financial health, your emotional health, and everything. And I'll say this about my pastor. At the end of our sermon, he says, he tells us goodbye. He said, I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Because you can't stop someone from caring if they care, if they really care, because they're going to step out their boundaries, which goes back to our original question, how we get caught up in wearing all those hats, because we want to, as women, wear it all and be all for everyone. But set the boundary.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, now I gotta piggyback just a little bit. So a lot of us are kind of alluding to kind of a similar experience, though, with like the woman, the matriarch, kind of being like the spiritual head over the household. A lot of our lessons seem like they came from, whether it was religion, whether it was spirituality, came from predominantly like the mother figures or the women in our family. I hate to throw you on the spot, but Mr. Russell, from your perspective, like growing up, seeing that, did you think that that had a positive effect on the women you saw? And you from young to old, how did you see their take on religion versus mental health versus the encompassing spirituality? Did you see that as something that was helpful or harmful in the household?
I would agree with everyone said. I think the two go hand in hand together. So I seen it in a lot of different facets. My mother was Jehovah's Witness and my grandmother was Jehovah's Witness. So I studied a lot of different religions, a lot of different ways of life. And what I came to understand was the world is going to trust someone who believes in something. It's not what you believe in, but it's what is you believe in something and you practice. So it's tricky because in the mental health field, we just talk about mental health. And I think a lot of people are starting to associate that with wellness. And they're not the same. The mental health is your overall checkup. It's telling you where you are, but it doesn't dictate your wellness. So I agree with everyone was saying. It's the same thing that I talk about in therapy as far as your diet isn't just what you eat. It's what you listen to, it's how people talk to you, it's how you respond, it's what you watch, it's who you follow on social media. All of those things are pouring into you. So we do have instances where we can say, okay, I'm feeling depressed, but then what are you doing to address that every day? You know what I mean? How are you affecting that? How are you adding to that? How are you now healing from that and teaching others about that? So I think our wellness is the community base. Our mental health is identifying what we need to address. We talk about it all the time with the tree. You can't see the leaves falling off the tree and know what's going on with the tree. You have to pay attention through seasons, or you have to get to the root. The root will let you know if the tree is dying or it's just wintertime. So the same thing happens with our healing. We can't rush to be fixed. There is no such thing as being healed. We will always be healing no matter what is going on. To heal trauma is to create new trauma in another way. So as we start to pay attention to our wellness more, then we can get in a situation where we can celebrate other people's wellness or hold them accountable. No, you said you were going to go for a walk every day. Did you go for your walk today? Do you plan on walking today? It's still 6 hours left. You plan on going for the walk? And like JJ and like TR was saying that through love, but you got to love yourself to be able to give that love off. So I seen a lot of things growing up. I didn't hold it against anyone, but I'm not going to expect someone to know how to heal when we weren't taught these things. A lot of us are writing the blueprint. A lot of us are becoming the creator of now what people may use in 1,000 years. But we can't dismiss the fact that we didn't have a book to read from. All we had was experience, and hopefully you wanted to get back on the horse when you fell off. But not everyone does. Some people were ready to put their saddle up, and that's okay too. Because we have so many things that need to be done, we have to start creating a world that fits for all of us. So I grew in a world where it kind of felt like everyone just wanted to get ahead. And then some people had intentions of coming back for everyone, but that's not always how it goes when you grow. Sometimes you forget when you were small. So you're trying to live a life now of a person in the clouds versus when you were on the ground. So what I am seeing now from women is the effort. That's what stuck out to me the most. It wasn't just this is what I believe, but this is the work I do as well. This is how I show up and not just expect someone to show up for me. But also I'm showing up for myself already and I'm attracting people to want to show up for me. I'm showing people it is okay to give me things. I like nice things. And to me, that is a part of grieving. We was talking about that earlier in our therapy session. We were taught that you have to, when there's no grieving and dreaming. The only time you grieve is when you don't get the dream. But really what's happening is when you started dreaming, you saw it a certain way. So now that life's showing you it's happening another way, you have to grieve your original thought of how you thought it should be. Once you have children, you have to grieve the children you thought you were going to have so you can celebrate the ones who are actually in front of you. So grieving is a part of healing. Pain is a part of growth. And what I've seen most, what I respected the most about Black women, particularly, I grew up around a lot of Black and Hispanic women, but what I seen was resilience. And I didn't understand that women's like, I don't want to be strong all the time. It wasn't until I started having daughters that I understood that a little bit better because we thought we were giving you a compliment. We didn't hear the echoes of everything else that were said to you and was said to your mother and her mother. So wellness is us identifying all of that. You know what I mean? No matter what you believe in, making sure those ancestors are present. That's what we're talking about today in therapy. Grandmother can't transcend time, but her recipe can. So you don't need to bring grandmother. Bring what she taught you. Bring what she meant to you. Bring what she represented. Because I grew up with Big Mama. I'm that era. I loved Big Mama. You dig? That was one of my favorite people. I used to lick the spoon. You hear me? That was my childhood. So I was spoiled, very spoiled. But she taught me a lesson, not just showing up for everybody else, you know, which leads into my next question. She taught me ways that I can go off of duty, ways that she didn't show up for people and she showed up for herself and she took the day off. So that's my final question. And then Chloe will wrap up with her final prompt. But my question is, in hearing, you know, women have a lot of things that they show up for as the foundation, as the pillars, how do y'all turn it off? How do you go off duty? How do you rest? And we'll start with Miss Alita.
How I rest. Let me just say this. I am one of those people, and I want to piggyback on something you said. I used to tell people, "Oh, don't give me, don't do for me. I don't need it. I'm good. I'm good." Till someone brought to my attention, you couldn't do that because that may be somebody else's blessing. You know, you're blocking someone else's blessings. So go ahead and accept it. So now, the way I rest, I'm be honest. I just celebrated my daughter's 16th birthday yesterday, so I'm a little tired. But how I rest now is, I have to tell her, give me a minute. Let me sit down. Let me breathe. Her face, I'm going to be honest, as a 16-year-old, it turns upside down sometimes because she can't understand, like, I am your mother, but I am also me. I have to take this break. So I will go and I will start journaling, which I tell people, not everyone writes. I'm a writer. I like to look, I don't do much TV. But when I do, I like black and white. I'm into the black and white film era. It's a lot of people don't get it, but those movies to me have a lot of morals behind them. They have a lot of, information behind them. And when I'm not doing that, now I will say I will listen to music. Music is my rest. It'll play in the background. People are like, well, you doing this? How are you doing both? Because music is in the background for my rest. It is my peace. Behind the things that I do on a daily. So I do, when I talk to my friends, I tell them, shut your door on your kids. Don't be scared. As the kids say, don't be scared. Close your door. Let them keep knocking on it because you need that peace. Tell them go away. I'll go into, and don't forgive me for this. It might be TMI, but I'll go in the bathroom just for no reason. Because who's going to follow you in the bathroom but your little bitty ones? They might want to follow you. But the bigger ones, they're not. They're going to go the other direction. Even for my husband, I'll be like, hey, hold up. I need this right here. Leave me alone. Because you don't want me to go from 0 to 60 and negative 60. Because I need that peace of mind right now. And I love, don't get me wrong, I love people. I love when they approach me. I love when they ask me for my advice. Because I do lead several groups outside of working with panelists and being on panels. But that's a lot that I talk about in my books, in my groups, in my sessions, is take a moment for yourself and don't feel guilty about it. Don't. You can't, because like Russ said, if you can't show up for yourself, you can't show up for anybody else in your best form. You can't. And if you want them to follow what is good in your life, then you have to be prepared. And being prepared is meaning having that rest so the best of you comes out. So they have something to look forward to and something to follow or something to emulate in their lives, which you never know how that might lead someone to epiphany of how, wait a minute, I'm gonna copy that. And it might help them be better in their lives, something they have been looking for a very long time, and they find it in you because you were able to rest your body and your mind so that you could be there for them.
Yes. I just want to add, ladies knock first, because us fathers and husbands might be in the bathroom hiding out first. So just, make sure it's clear. Don't just barge in. Just make sure nobody ain't already hiding out in there.
Wait. Okay, we'll knock first, but usually it's like,
awesome. Everything else,
like,
yes.
How long you gonna be in there? Can you now, please? Because I need this.
They already asked us to fix something earlier in the day. I'm already been hiding out a couple hours. I might have fell asleep in there. Just not. I'll let you in.
Okay.
But I love that. Very well put. All right, Miss TR. How do you go off of duty? How do you rest? You might be on mute.
There we go.
All right.
As an educator, you know that we go all the time. Our brains go all the time. What lessons have to be done? What has to be graded? What meetings I got to do tomorrow? Do I have any PDs? I mean, we think. We bring work home. I had to learn the hard way and stop bringing work home. What happens between 8:45 and 4:45 stays right there. I don't bring a bag home anymore. I come home, make sure I cook dinner. We eat. I got a 17-year-old son, so you know he don't want to be around me. He wants to be on those games. So I go, and that's my time to have my peace. That's my time for me to read. That's my time for me to meditate and pray. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting in that routine. And yes, definitely, self-care is very important. And self-care doesn't always have to look like something that we have to put money in. Self-care can be listening to music, like she said. Self-care can be crocheting, doing puzzles, writing in your journal. So there's a lot of different ways to do self-care, but it's just on what brings peace to your mind. And I wanted to say another thing when she was talking about grief. Grief has no time limit. And no one else is able to tell you how long you should grieve. Okay, everybody goes through grief. And going through the road of grief and pain, to get to the intersection of freedom and peace, we have to go through it. That's what makes us stronger. We have to go through it because those are our lessons. And if we go for those lessons, we use the tools that we got from that, it prepares us for our next assignment.
Yes, it does. I really, really resonated with that. It reminds me something I'll say now. My grandmother used to say, but the storm was designed to remove what's not foundation, what's not, supposed to be here. So don't get mad at the storm. It's doing its job. I love that you said that. Okay, Miss JJ, how do you rest? How do you go off of duty? What does that look like for you?
Well, as you all know, I'm a fiction author. So I like to write fiction. And then I got my sister-in-law here, Miss Teresa Terry Winston. We're married to identical twins.
Wow.
Sometimes I talk to her. She is an LPCC out of Minnesota and a very wonderful person and a great therapist. So if you are looking for an African-American therapist, she would be somebody to call. But one of the things that I do is I love to read. And she just spoke about grief. I don't know if everybody knows, but on August 30th, I'm writing my newsletter. That's going to be National Grief Awareness Day. And that is something that we do want to make sure people know, is that there is no timeline, and to continue to remind people of that. But I love music. I love movies. I love shows, and I love to read. I have a very difficult job. And I agree with my soror, T.R. Monroe, what she just said. I don't bring stuff home. I don't do that. I do my work during work hours. When it's time to be off work, I also do my work. And I'm talking about my work for me. And self-care is important. It's not just about maintenance. When you get your feet and nails done, that's not necessarily self-care. That's because I need to be cute. That's maintenance. When you get your hair done, that's maintenance. When you get your teeth done, that's maintenance. Self-care is taking some time. I spend time with my husband. Yesterday we went to the Asian Lantern Festival, and we do date night every Saturday night, where we go and we do something fun. We go to dinner. We alternate who pays. And like someone said, everything that you do doesn't have to cost money. I just like to sit in my backyard and write. I live like on a creek, beautiful, beautiful park-like backyard with my music and my tablet. And I just, be somebody different. When I write, you have to like be the characters, so it's almost like you're living someone else's life, So I do really enjoy that. If you all want to become a part of my newsletter, it is free. I put it out every month. You can go on my website at www.novelistjjwinston.com and sign up for my newsletter, which I do every month. And I talk about a different subject. Usually it's mental health or, related, some type of awareness. And lastly, I just wanted to say one thing that when we talked about before about faith, I don't know if I misunderstood the question, but what I wanted to just make sure I underscored is that sometimes people think if there's something wrong, that if they are not praying about it, you should pray about it. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that there could be other means to also, make sure you get help. You should pray, and God will provide you, like Charlotte talked about, maybe some professional supports, some informal supports that, these groups, these people are here. God actually had me go to school, had Russ go to school, so that we can learn how to do this, so that we can be an angel and a servant and of service to our community. And we learned these particular skills so that we can help people. So he put us here. And so what I want people to know is you should go and get that. And why I'm saying that is I have a personal friend who lost a child, and she was getting better. And her family and friends told her if she really, really was a believer, she wouldn't need to get therapy. She wouldn't need to go to a support group. She wouldn't need these things. And I just want to underscore that you need God always in everything that you do. You need faith in everything that you do. You should believe. I mean, I can't tell people what to believe. I believe that there's something bigger than me. And I got put here and I wrote these books and I do these things because I am creating a legacy that God wanted for me. But he also put all these people with these professions here to help people. And so if you are somebody who is dealing with a mental health issue, a mental health concern, don't be afraid to reach out for professional help. Also know that there is informal help too by going to your family members, friends, the people in your community, the people that love you. If somebody comes to you and they're asking you to help, then maybe try to help. And if you can't do it all on your own, get their permission and get other people to help you, help carry that load. What we need to do is help each other reach across and hold each other's hands through the storms of life, because there's none of us is going to get out of here unscathed, period. You're going to deal with grief. You're going to deal with problems. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to lose people. You might lose a job. There's all kind of things that's going to happen, and that's just life, and you can't get around it. But how you handle it is a test of character and who you are. And I want to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you for sharing. You said a lot, and I agree with all of it. I agree with all of it. It definitely brought a lot of what we were talking about, full circle. As far as, you walking the walk first, especially in all of our professions, which we are all mental health professionals in one way or another. And I used to be mindful of that. I can't tell, these people become my family. I don't really see them as clients, but I can't tell them to rest and I'm not resting. I can't tell them to honor their family and I'm not honoring my family. You know what I mean? So you have to, one, be the change, but you also, you have to walk the talk and decide, like, I believe in this and I'm going to believe in it and be so much of my authentic self, it will give people the permission to be their authentic selves. So, yes, that was beautiful. Okay, Miss Charlotte, how do you rest and how do you go off of duty?
Um, I'm a night person. I love to be up late at night. So my resting moment usually is writing. I love to write because I believe I release my mind, or as I would say, or as some people probably would do, journaling. It releases my mind of maybe whatever I've gone through throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever I'm battling. Um, I'll write. I'll write, and I think that's mostly how most of my books came out because I was releasing my mind. I was giving my mind that release that it needed. Um, and once I started writing my books, I had to, had to put it in book mode. But just writing at night was giving myself that relief, or giving myself stuff that I wouldn't talk to people about. I could write it down and relieve my mind. So that's one thing. I love music. I love to listen to music. I'm not a TV person, so most things I listen to music. Most time I'm a music person. I will listen to music, or if I watch certain videos or certain things that really inspire me, I will do that. But that's my release moment, or that's my rest moment. Or if I just want to be off by myself, I just have that moment to myself. I do not disturb any all of that, and just have that moment to Charlotte. So, but that's my rest moment, and I really want to touch back quickly on that grief subject. That grief subject is really bearing me right now because um, I lost my and with you talking about grandmothers, I lost my grandmother October 30th of last year. And one of the biggest things I tried to do was be strong for the rest of my family. And it was one of the hardest things I could ever do, trying to be hard for the rest of my family. But it took place April, I think April, May, where it really hit me, and I went into a mode where I just wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with anyone. Nothing made me happy. Nothing made me. And that's why I brought the point up about professionalism, getting help, because being a person that doesn't like to talk to anyone is one of the hardest things you can ever do. So I would tell anybody, talk to somebody. And it doesn't have to be grief. Whatever you're going through, please talk to somebody. Help your mental health. You can be a lot of help to your mental health if you talk to somebody. Yes, I talk to God every night. I had a prayer, I had a conversation, but it's a place where you will get to a place that you will have to talk to somebody. I thank you all for allowing me in this panel. I enjoyed every lady on here. I enjoyed you, uh, all of you all, and thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you for sharing. I definitely agree that talking to someone is going to be one of the hardest things you have to do. And when it comes to healing and when it comes to this journey, a lot of times that the hardest thing to do is what you need to do the most. That is your rite of passage. That's what's going to get you through. That's something I say when you get up to the door and it's telling you you need 100%, you can't haggle with 98 because the 2% is what's keeping you out. So we can't do things to be finished. We got to work them to completion. That means every single thing is checked off. And now we can rest. Now we can put it up. Now we can step away. So I love that everyone was talking about being aware of themselves, not allowing someone else to tell you, hey, you're off a little bit, or hey, zip your fly up. You got you watching over you, and you're paying attention to the steps you're taking and not making excuses or blaming anyone, but you're deciding, okay, we're going to keep doing this and we ain't doing that no more. And people ain't going to call me this nickname no more. We going to graduate from that. Because a lot of times that's what we're experiencing. We're not losing a friend. We're not losing a job or opportunity. We graduated. It's to completion. So now it's time to decide what comes next. And I love that everyone was talking about having faith in something, having a purpose, having that, what I like to consider your compass. And that compass is there when you get lost. It reminds you where on track is. It reminds you where home is. It reminds you where help is. So remember, as we're building our mental health, all of these things are tools and attunements. This is with you the rest of your life. And it's meant to serve you. This is what I say in healing. There's nothing in the darkness that's trying to get you. It's only undiscovered parts of yourself. It's the things that you're too afraid to experience. And those things will set you free. So I really appreciate y'all. I have my prompts. Miss Chloe is going to anchor us through. I appreciate everyone being vulnerable and transparent and showing up today. You could have been anywhere in the world, as y'all like to do, but y'all decided to be here. So that is more important than everything else going on, because now we can look back on this moment. There's my daughters, other people's daughters, my friends' daughters can look back and watch this and have this information. So gratitude to all of you. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. I had a different prompt I was going to close out with. And then I really just kind of sat in the space that you guys allowed me to be privileged to be a part of with your answers. And I thought a lot about like the perception of us, especially like being labeled and then being fear of being labeled, but just listening to how those labels literally are just passed on to us. Whether it's the strong Black woman, whether it's the spiritual mother, whether it's, you know, so many things. And then sometimes we're afraid of expressing ourselves because there are other labels like angry Black woman. And none of us really like to be that way when we're just really tired because we feel like it's not okay for us to rest. And then that brought me to this question. Are we safe to express ourselves in a way that is healthy for our mental health?
I'll answer it. Yes. But we have to create those places of safety. It's up to our community to help create those places so that we can feel safe and to build those relationships so that we can feel safe and be able to express ourselves. But I think that first of all, these conversations is how we build safety. 15 years ago, nobody would have talked about this. Nobody would have ever said, and particularly about no Black women. I'm just going to be honest, okay? But we are creating those places. We're making this part of our conversation. We're talking about this. We're making sure that people don't feel stigmatized when they talk about it. That's the most important thing. Stigma, we need to remember, really helps to create discrimination and prejudice. So when you are having these kind of honest conversations, and we're making it okay and making it that everybody's dealing with this, not just you, then we're helping to eradicate stigma. And that's really what my whole goal is. I feel like God helped put me here just for that. So I feel like I'm walking in my purpose every day. And I thank you all for helping to create those spaces so we can have these type of conversations.
That was a beautiful statement. Thank you so much for that. Miss Alita, are we safe?
Are we safe? I think as women, we define it differently. Some women don't think they're safe or safe enough to express themselves, to be who they are, because in fear of being stigmatized or being hurt or not being misunderstood. When I was listening to Russ explain, which Chloe and I had previous conversations, how we talked about how we have adages. Like the one thing that people talk about that you get from history is those adages, which tell us one way or another if we're safe. Like when you were talking about the help, and we talk about how people should pray about it and get over it and like that. But the one adage that came to mind was when I prayed about it and I asked God later, well, God, why you didn't send me anything? He said, well, wait a minute. I sent you somebody. I sent you so and so. I sent you so and so. I sent you so and so, and you turned them away. So when I think about us being safe, having, and I don't want to say permission because you don't need permission to feel safe. You need understanding and you need the help to feel safe. If I can come to you and confide in you, as they, as she was saying earlier, without the feeling of being judged or tormented, or it comes back to me in a whole nother form, because we know how if you played the little telephone game when you was a kid with the little can, it come back totally different and I'm harmed by it, then no, I don't feel safe. But as a woman in a particular world of healthcare and being a coach and someone who has done it for over 30 years, teaching children how to feel safe in foster care, how to deal with the trauma they may be experiencing, how to feel safe enough to come to us and tell us what's going on in their lives. The only, not the only way, but one of the ways I feel like we could feel safe as women is when we're able to, again, one, be okay with ourselves. Two, find the peace that we need to be okay with ourselves. And three, as Russ said, the ability to execute those things in ourselves. That's how you build the power and the strength to be safe. Yes, there are other means and other ways and other people to help you. But if you don't explore those fundamentals that I just spoke about, you're going to have a hard time feeling safe because you don't know how to get there and you don't may not have the direction or the help that you need to get there. So again, as my company says, being eccentrically me every day, that is created so people can understand you could be safe in who you are. I say be who you are if everything around you is changing. And if you're changing and everything else around you is stagnant, still be who you are. Because that is the stance, the ground, the solid rock, as they say, I stand to be okay and to have that mental clarity about who you are and what your purpose is. Everyone on this panel, as I can hear from them speaking, recognize what their purpose is. The purpose is to be out here helping those that may need our help. Because I think I talked to Chloe once before, and I brought up a chapter in my book how at some point people wanted to save me. Save me from what? And from who? You can't erase my history. All you can do is help me understand it, live with it, and learn to do better around it and from it. Take everything you have, good, bad, in between, above, below. Take it as a lesson to learn from. A good lesson, a bad lesson. Something bad happened to you. Don't look at it as, oh, woe is me. Look at it as like, okay, that happened. Now how do I process it? How do I deal with it? And you may not ever have closure over it, but you have to learn that, okay, I'm dealing with it the best I can, and more solutions may be yet to come. Like Russ said, you can come with that 98%, but you got to remember there's still 2% more you got to go. And that might come later in some form or another, an epiphany to say, now is the time to complete this. So now that you feel safe in that area of your life.
Oh, wow. Wow, on that, Miss Charlotte, let's talk. Are we safe? In this day and age, I'll say, can we be ourselves? Can we express ourselves in a way without fear of being stigmatized?
I will say in certain conditions. Um, to me, safety has another way of coming in with trust. We have to trust. It's depending on who we trust, what we trust. You know, our space and our mentality when trusting, because it comes to a point where people will say, I can't trust anybody, or I don't have, I just don't have trust in people. So it comes to a point in safety you have to trust, because you have to know who you're talking to, who you're safe around, and being a millennial, being a younger person, I'm more closer to older people, and it's because of my safety. It's because of safety. I believe that wisdom comes with safety, and my generation, I don't you may not get as much wisdom as the older generation. So you have to have somewhere to learn from. You have to have somewhere to trust. You have to have somewhere to build that safety point in order to feel safe. Not only in someone else, but trusting yourself or feeling safe for yourself. So, building that relationship, building that trust, um, it will help you build that safety net too. Because you got to have a safety net, you got to have a trust. Because you really can't be around a person in safety if you don't trust them. So I say trust is a big way of that. Building in safety, having that wisdom, that knowing um, who you're safe around, where's that safety, in where you're safe around and who you're safe around. And that's just from a personal perspective of things I've seen or things I've gone through, or even trusting people, losing people, you have and not feeling safe around people or safe around things. You have to have that trust in order to build that safety. Because to me, everybody is not a safety net.
So I love that, because I feel like the end you guys are consistently saying that it's almost like a call to action. Like, we are creating the spaces for each other to be safe in. We are performing in a way that breeds trust. We're not doing anything that's harmful or distrusting with each other. And that's really what it's about. And it's going back to community and us being responsible for ourselves. Miss TR, bring it on home, ma'am.
Are we safe? Trying to be ourselves. One thing that we have to realize is some of us, and I'm saying some of us because I know this is part of my testimony, we have to find out who we are first. We have to find out, we have to actually love ourselves first and stop conforming to what everybody else wants us to be. I mean, get rid of that judgment, because that comes from when I'm not doing what you want me to do. Let them put down that ego because you actually said no. Because me, if I have to be the villain in your story in order to have my peace, then call me Joker. Really, you have to call me the Joker. Because, and I know I have this problem, we have a problem of keeping something more than a season. Everything in our life comes with a season. We have the problem with keeping it longer than the season. And then that way, when we do lose it, oh my goodness, that's traumatic for us. Everything in our life comes for a season. Everything is there for a reason. As I talked about earlier, lessons. These are our lessons. So we have to understand that healing, finding our peace, comes with a lot of goodbyes. We're going to have to say some goodbyes in order to have our true, authentic, unapologetic self.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely appreciate everyone coming out today. This has been a most wonderful panel. I'm excited to continue to follow all of your journeys and see all the impact and beauty that you put into the world. So before we head out, I am Good Life for Us on all social medias. You can find me at goodtribe.us or thegoodlifebookstore.com. But you know, just if you're looking for me, be with good intentions. I'll tell you that. But we got books, we got wisdom, we got love, we got food, we got all the things. So thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for gracing this panel with your experience, your presence, and your honesty.
Yeah, definitely. I want to second that. I'm extremely grateful for you guys to be able to come and share your wisdom and your knowledge with us, because this is really what it's about for me too. It's just like spreading what you have learned to all of us, and then we spread it to all of them, and hopefully they keep going. But we add our own nuances to it because we are living a slightly different experience than the people that were before us. So it's important for us to add our portion to that discussion because all of it is relevant and pertinent to where we're going to. I'm Chloe Simone. You can find me at Chloe Simone Studio on all social media platforms. We got the bookstore. He must be cooking. He said we got the food. I'm ready for it. I got my plate and my menu decided, and I know what I want. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for watching, listening, engaging, sharing, promoting. It's an indescribable feeling to see the kind of love that we have received. And, you know, I'll just never forget it. I'm forever grateful for it. Ladies, is there anything that any final words that you want to leave us with?
Just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, Russ. And Russ, I'm gonna have to pass on the food because I told you I don't have a 6-pack yet. I got a 12-pack Perkins.
I'll take her size. Don't worry about it.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it as always. Very special people out here in the world, and I think everyone on this panel are those people.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to really thank Good Life and Chloe for allowing me to use my voice so that I can help others use theirs.
Yes. Yes. You know my little slogan, everybody. We didn't grow up seeing ourselves in the book, so we had to write our own. So we didn't grow up seeing these kind of conversations and panels, so we had to create our own, and you guys are what makes that possible. So thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned.
Everybody, we see y'all soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.